Welcome back to ABC General Hospital Spoilers channel. Today we will learn about the shocking theory that's taking Port Charles by storm. Could Willow Cain be suffering from a split personality disorder that explains all of her recent erratic behavior and possibly even the shooting of Drew Cain? The evolution of Willow Cain. When Willow first appeared on our screens in Port Charles, she embodied everything pure and wholesome about daytime television heroines. Working as a dedicated elementary school teacher, she demonstrated genuine care and compassion for her students, going above and beyond her duties to ensure their well-being and educational success. Her relationship with Detective Harrison Chase was the epitome of sweetness. They shared tender moments, supportive conversations, and what appeared to be a rock-solid foundation built on mutual respect and understanding. Viewers couldn't help but root for this couple who seemed destined for a happily ever after. Their chemistry was undeniable, and Willow's gentle nature perfectly complemented Chase's protective instincts as a police officer. However, the trajectory of Willow's character took an unexpected turn when she became entangled with Michael Corinthos. What started as a marriage of convenience designed to protect W.Y. from his biological mother Nell Benson gradually transformed into what many believed was genuine love. The transition from her relationship with Chase to her romance with Michael was jarring for longtime viewers who had invested in her previous relationship. Despite the controversial beginning, Willow and Michael appeared to build something real together. They created a blended family, welcomed children into their lives, and projected an image of domestic bliss that seemed unshakable. The Corinthos mansion became their home, and Willow seamlessly integrated herself into one of Port Charles's most powerful families. The cancer diagnosis and Drew's entrance. The storyline took a dramatic and emotional turn when Willow received the devastating diagnosis of leukemia. This life-threatening illness brought the entire Corinthos and Quartermain families together in support, showcasing the depth of their love for Willow. The search for a bone marrow donor became urgent and desperate, with everyone hoping for a miracle. Enter Drew Cain, the dashing and heroic figure who would change everything. Drew's involvement in saving Willow's donor proved pivotal to her survival. And this act of heroism planted seeds that would eventually destroy her marriage to Michael. Something shifted in Willow during her cancer treatment and recovery. Whether it was the near-death experience, the vulnerability she felt during her illness, or the gratitude she experienced toward Drew, Willow began viewing him through a completely different lens. What should have been simple appreciation morphed into an obsession that neither she nor Drew could control. The attraction became magnetic, pulling them together despite the obvious consequences and the hurt it would cause to those around them. Willow convinced herself that Drew was her true savior, her knight in shining armor, and that what she felt for him transcended her marriage vows to Michael. The scandalous affair, the affair between Drew and Willow, shocked Port Charles society and devastated the Corinthos family. What made their betrayal even more egregious was the reckless abandon with which they conducted their relationship. They weren't discreet or careful. Instead, they engaged in passionate encounters in wildly inappropriate locations. The most scandalous incident occurred in the children's playroom, where Willow and Drew gave in to their desires on the floor, surrounded by toys and reminders of the innocent lives their actions would shatter. This location choice alone should have been a red flag that something was seriously wrong with Willow's judgment and mental state. Michael's discovery of the affair was inevitable. And when the truth finally came out, the fallout was catastrophic. The man who had loved Willow unconditionally, who had stood by her through her cancer battle, who had built a life and family with her, was blindsided by her betrayal. The divorce proceedings were bitter and complicated, involving custody arrangements and the division of assets. Throughout this painful process, Willow showed little remorse or self-reflection. Instead, she doubled down on her relationship with Drew, moving forward with their romance as if the collateral damage they'd caused was merely an unfortunate but necessary casualty of their great love story, the wedding day revelation. Drew and Willow's determination to legitimize their relationship led them to plan a wedding despite the relatively short time since her divorce from Michael. They wanted to present a unified front to the world to prove that their love was worth all the pain and destruction it had caused. The wedding day arrived with all the pomp and circumstance expected of a Quartermain affair. Guests assembled, flowers were arranged, and Willow prepared to walk down the aisle to marry the man she claimed to love more than anyone else. However, Curtis Ashford possessed information that would detonate like a bomb at the ceremony. Just as Willow was about to say, "I do," Curtis revealed the devastating truth. Drew had been unfaithful to her with none other than Nina Reeves, Willow's own mother. This revelation was particularly brutal given Willow's complicated history with Nina and the years of animosity between them. The betrayal cut deeper than any knife could, and Willow's reaction was swift and definitive. She left Drew standing at the altar, humiliated and rejected. Their relationship imploding in spectacular fashion in front of all of Port Charles's elite. The shooting and trial. In September, Port Charles was rocked by another shocking event. Drew Cain was shot under mysterious circumstances. The investigation into the shooting revealed few concrete leads, but suspicion quickly fell on those who had motive to harm Drew. The subsequent arrest and trial of Willow for attempted murder stunned the community. How could the sweet school teacher who once embodied innocence now stand accused of trying to kill the man she had supposedly loved so desperately? In a twisted turn of events, Willow and Drew reconciled and married while she awaited trial, claiming they wanted to present a united front and demonstrate their commitment to each other. This remarriage raised countless eyebrows and led many to question both of their mental states. The prosecution built their case methodically, presenting evidence that placed Willow at the scene of the crime. Traffic camera footage showed her vehicle in the vicinity of Drew's residence around the time of the shooting. The timeline aligned perfectly with the attack, and Willow's motive was crystal clear. Drew had destroyed her life, ruined her relationship with her children, and betrayed her in the most painful way possible by sleeping with her mother. The red herring theory reconsidered. For months, soap opera analysts and devoted fans have operated under the assumption that Willow was merely a red herring in this murder mystery. The prevailing theory suggested that the real shooter remained hidden, waiting to be revealed in typical General Hospital fashion. After all, the show has a long history of misdirection and surprise reveals. Many believe that making Willow the shooter would be too obvious to predictable for a show known for its intricate plot twists and complex storytelling. However, what if the truth is simultaneously more obvious and more complex than anyone imagined? What if Willow did shoot Drew, but she genuinely has no memory of the event because she wasn't truly herself when she pulled the trigger? This theory opens up fascinating possibilities and would explain the numerous inconsistencies in Willow's behavior and story. The dissociative identity disorder hypothesis. The evidence supporting the theory that Willow suffers from dissociative identity disorder is increasingly compelling. Consider her suspicious agreement to lie to the police about her whereabouts on the night of the shooting. When Nina fabricated an alibi claiming they were together on a walk, Willow immediately went along with the deception rather than correcting the false statement. This behavior suggests either consciousness of guilt or a genuine confusion about her actual whereabouts and actions that evening. Dissociative identity disorder, formerly known as multiple personality disorder, typically develops as a coping mechanism in response to severe childhood trauma. The mind essentially fractures, creating alternate personalities to handle experiences too painful or overwhelming for the primary personality to process. Each alter can have distinct characteristics, memories, and behaviors. Crucially, the primary personality often has no awareness or memory of what the alters do when they take control. Willow's traumatic past. Willow's backstory provides the perfect foundation for developing dissociative identity disorder. She was raised within the Dawn of Day cult, a dangerous and manipulative organization led by the predatory Shiloh Archer. Growing up in such an environment would have exposed young Willow to psychological manipulation, potential abuse, and experiences that could easily traumatize a developing mind. The cult's practices likely included isolation from mainstream society, indoctrination sessions, and possibly worse horrors that Willow has never fully disclosed. Shiloh's personal interest in Willow added another layer of trauma to her childhood and young adulthood. His manipulation and control over her life, combined with his eventual criminal activities that put her and her child at risk, created deep psychological wounds. Even after escaping the cult and Shiloh's influence, those formative experiences would continue to shape Willow's psyche and potentially contribute to fractured mental processes. The breaking point, the revelation of Drew's affair with Nina, may have been the final straw that shattered what remained of Willow's psychological stability. In that moment, she realized that Drew hadn't saved her life. He had destroyed it. She had sacrificed her marriage to a good man, damaged her relationship with her children, alienated herself from the Corinthos family, and endured public humiliation. All for a man who had betrayed her in the most devastating way imaginable. The weight of these realizations could have triggered the emergence of a protective alter personality designed to eliminate the threat that Drew represented to her well-being and her future. Consider also Willow's earlier behavior when she snuck into the Quartermaine mansion to gaslight Sasha Corbin. She managed to infiltrate the heavily secured estate undetected, systematically tormented Sasha, and then vanished without a trace. This calculated cruel behavior was completely at odds with Willow's established personality. Could an alter have been responsible for these actions as well? The pattern of behavior that seems uncharacteristic might indicate multiple instances of an alternate personality taking control. The One Life to Live precedent. General Hospital has a sister show precedent for this exact type of storyline. One Life to Live featured one of daytime television's most memorable dissociative identity disorder plots with Victoria Lord Buchanan and her alter ego Nikki Smith. Vicky's character struggled with multiple personalities for years, with Nikki emerging during times of stress or when Vicky needed protection from painful truths. The storyline was handled with surprising sensitivity and depth, exploring the psychological complexities of the disorder while maintaining dramatic tension. If General Hospital chooses to pursue this angle with Willow, they have a successful blueprint to follow. The conviction of innocence. What makes this theory particularly intriguing is Willow's apparent genuine belief in her own innocence. When she protests that she didn't shoot Drew, she may be telling what she believes to be the truth. If an alter personality emerged to handle the situation with Drew, the primary Willow personality would have no memory of planning or executing the shooting. She might have dissociative gaps in her memory that she's filled in with assumptions about where she was and what she was doing. The alter personality could have been driven by a primal need to protect Willow and restore her access to her children. From this alter's perspective, Drew was the obstacle preventing Willow from reclaiming her life and repairing her relationships. Eliminating him would solve all of Willow's problems. Or so the fractured logic of a protective alter might conclude. This alternate personality might have planned the attack carefully, obtained a weapon, traveled to Drew's location, and executed the shooting. All while the primary Willow personality remained dormant and unaware. The path forward, if this theory proves correct, the implications for Willow's trial and future are profound. A dissociative identity disorder diagnosis could provide a psychological explanation for her actions without fully absolving her of responsibility. The legal system would need to grapple with questions of culpability and treatment rather than simple punishment. Willow would need intensive psychiatric care to integrate her personalities and address the underlying trauma that caused the disorder to develop in the first place. The storyline could also open up new avenues for character development and redemption. Willow could finally confront and process the trauma from her years in the Dawn of Day cult. She could work to understand how her experiences shaped her psychological responses and behavioral patterns. Most importantly, she could begin the long journey toward healing and potentially rebuilding relationships with Michael, her children, and others she's hurt along the way. Next, we will learn about the issue of her potential Christmas miracles that could completely transform Port Charles this holiday season. As the festive lights begin to twinkle throughout the beloved town and families prepare for their holiday celebrations, General Hospital fans are buzzing with anticipation about what surprises the writers might have in store. The holiday season has always been a time when the soap opera pulls out all the stops, delivering shocking twists, emotional reunions, and moments that leave viewers on the edge of their seats. This year promises to be no different, with several storylines reaching critical turning points just as the calendar flips to the most wonderful time of the year, Drew Cain's potential departure. The first major possibility that is fans talking involves Drew Cain and a potential exit from Port Charles that could happen right on Christmas Day. The timing would be absolutely devastating for some characters while providing relief for others who have grown weary of his recent political ambitions and questionable decisions. Drew's journey back to Washington could be triggered by an urgent call from political allies who need his presence in the nation's capital immediately. His congressional seat demands attention, and with the holiday recess ending, there are critical votes and policy decisions that simply cannot wait any longer. This departure would create massive ripples throughout Port Charles, affecting multiple storylines and relationships simultaneously. His exit would leave Curtis Ashford in a complicated position regarding their business ventures and friendship, while Nina Reeves would find herself questioning everything about their connection and whether she made the right choices in getting involved with him. The timing of a Christmas Day departure would be particularly cruel for Scout, who has already lost her mother and would now face the holidays without the father figure she desperately needs during this difficult time. Drew's absence could also dramatically shift the power dynamics at Aurora Media, leaving opportunities for others to step in and take control of the company's direction. Beyond the immediate personal impact, Drew's departure could signal a fresh start for several Port Charles residents who have been caught in his orbit. His exit might finally allow certain characters to move forward with their lives without the constant complications his presence creates, opening doors for new relationships and storylines that have been waiting in the wings. The impossible return of Sam McCall. Perhaps the most jaw-dropping Christmas miracle fans could witness would be the resurrection of Samal. A twist that would shake General Hospital to its very core. While her death seemed final and absolute with tearful goodbyes said by her loved ones as she lay motionless in that hospital bed, the soap opera genre has never let something as trivial as death stand in the way of a good story. After all, both Britt Westben and Nathan West managed to cheat death and return to Port Charles, proving that in the world of daytime drama, no goodbye is truly permanent. The mechanics of Sam's return could involve an elaborate scheme where she was actually in witness protection. Or perhaps her death was faked by a secret organization that needed her skills for a dangerous mission. Maybe there was a rare medical condition that made her appear deceased when she was actually in a state of suspended animation only to be revived weeks later by cutting-edge medical technology. The possibilities are endless when it comes to soap opera resurrections. And the writers have shown time and again that they are willing to bend reality to bring beloved characters back into the fold. Imagine the emotional tsunami that would hit Port Charles when Sam walks through that door on Christmas morning. Scout would be absolutely overjoyed to have her mother back, running into her arms with tears streaming down her face. Danny Morgan would be in complete disbelief, unable to process that his mother is truly alive and standing before him. Dante Falconeri would be torn between relief and anger, struggling to understand how this could be possible and whether he can trust what his eyes are telling him. Rocco Falconer would gain back the woman who had become such an important part of his life, creating a complete family unit once again. The ripple effects would extend far beyond her immediate family. Jason Morgan would need to confront feelings he thought he had buried forever, while Drew would find his world complicated even further if he hasn't already departed for Washington. Carly would need to process the return of someone who has been both friend and rival over the years. The entire dynamic of Port Charles would shift dramatically with Sam back among the living. Britt Westben and Jason Morgan's long-awaited romance. While many devoted fans hold out hope for Sam's miraculous return and a reunion with Jason Morgan, there is another romantic possibility that has been simmering beneath the surface for quite some time now. The chemistry between Jason and Britt Westben has been undeniable, building slowly through shared dangers, quiet conversations, and moments of understanding that go deeper than words. These two damaged souls have been circling each other cautiously, both afraid to take that final leap into something real and meaningful. The central obstacle preventing them from acting on their obvious attraction has been Britt's secret research project at the Five Poppies Resort. A mysterious endeavor that she has since moved to a private laboratory right here in Port Charles. This research involves sensitive medical breakthroughs that could revolutionize treatment for certain conditions. But it also carries risks and ethical questions that Britt has been wrestling with privately. Jason knows she is hiding something significant. And while he respects her privacy, the secret creates a barrier between them that prevents full honesty and intimacy. They have come achingly close to kissing on multiple occasions, with moments where their faces are mere inches apart and the air crackles with tension. Each time something pulls them back from the brink, whether it is Britt's guilt about her secrets, Jason's lingering grief over Sam, or simply the terrible timing that seems to plague their every interaction. But the holidays have a way of breaking down walls and making people take chances they would normally avoid. A romantic reunion between Jason and Britt during Christmas would be the perfect gift for fans who have been rooting for this pairing. Picture them trapped together during a snowstorm, forced to confront their feelings when there is nowhere left to run. Or perhaps a moment of vulnerability on Christmas Eve leads to a kiss under the mistletoe that neither can deny any longer. Once they finally cross that line and give in to their passion, it could open up entirely new storytelling possibilities for both characters as they navigate what it means to be together while still dealing with the complications that have kept them apart. The consummation of their relationship would also impact other Port Charles residents who have been watching their slow-burn romance develop. Carly would likely have mixed feelings about Jason moving on with Britt, while Lissel Oric would be thrilled to see her daughter finding happiness with someone as strong and capable as Jason. This coupling would create fresh drama and new alliances that could carry the show well into the new year. Maxie Jones' awakening. The fourth potential Christmas miracle centers on Maxie Jones, who has been trapped in a coma for months now, leaving her loved ones in a state of perpetual anguish and uncertainty. Her family gathered at her bedside during Thanksgiving in a bittersweet scene that highlighted just how much her absence has affected everyone in Port Charles. Max's presence has always been a source of light and energy in the community. And without her vibrant personality, there is a noticeable void that cannot be filled. Maxie has 3 children who are desperately waiting for their mother to wake up and return to them. Each child is coping with her coma in their own way, struggling to understand why mommy won't wake up and when she will be able to come home. The pain in their young eyes is heartbreaking for everyone who sees them. And the adults in their lives are doing everything possible to maintain normally while privately fearing the worst. Beyond her children, 2 men are anxiously waiting for Maxie to open her eyes. Damon Spinney has been a constant presence at her bedside, reading to her, playing her favorite music and talking to her about their shared memories in hopes that something will break through the darkness, keeping her trapped. His devotion is absolute and he has made it clear that he would wait forever if necessary for Maxie to return to them. Nathan West, having miraculously returned from his own presumed death, is also deeply invested in Maxie's recovery. Their complicated history adding layers of emotional complexity to an already fraught situation. The good news for fans desperate to see Maxie's return is that actress Kirsten Storms is scheduled to come back to General Hospital sometime in late 2025 to early 2026. This timeline means that a Christmas miracle waking would not be outside the realm of possibility, especially if the writers decide to bring her back for the holiday season to maximize the emotional impact. Imagine Max's eyes fluttering open on Christmas morning. Her first words asking about her children and the absolute explosion of joy that would erupt throughout the hospital. Her awakening would set off a chain reaction of storylines as she pieces together everything that happened while she was unconscious, deals with any potential medical complications from the coma and navigates the complex romantic situation waiting for her with both Spinelli and Nathan vying for her affection. The dramatic possibilities are endless, and her return would inject fresh energy into multiple storylines that have been treading water during her absence. These four potential Christmas miracles represent the kind of bold, emotional storytelling that General Hospital fans have come to expect during the holiday season, and any one of them would be enough to make this Christmas unforgettable in Port Charles.